Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm getting ready to set up for my second night of winter camping, and today I am doing it with the cheapest tent that Amazon has to offer at $19.30. And no, those don't come insulated. But I wanted to make a separate video from my winter camp out tonight to show you all what I bring with me. Now, obviously, I'm still somewhere on my property, but the next video that I do where I'm winter camping, I'm going to take it outside to another property somewhere else that I'm not familiar with, because I think I'm ready for it. And the fact of the matter is that the temperatures just aren't as drastic as they normally are this time of year in Alaska. I think right now it's like 18 degrees Fahrenheit, above zero, that is. Normally during January we're really in the deep below zeros, but for some reason El Nino, and that's Big Red right there, for some reason El Nino thought different this year. So let's start. Let me show you everything that I got, and I'll give you a brief explanation as to why I'm bringing these things with me. Ladies and gentlemen, before we continue, I have to apologize ahead of time. My production crew decided not to show up to work today, and it seems that the rest of this video, whenever you see me speaking, I'll be speaking with only about 2/3 of my head, because the top third or so got chopped off. So if you don't mind that, I hope that you stick around to watch this, because I got a lot of cool stuff that I ended up taking out on my camping trip this time around. The first thing I'm going to show you, ladies and gentlemen, is the OUPES 600, what I like to call the Mighty Mouse. And the reason is because I need to use it. They sent me an extra OUPES 600 because I told them I want to do this experiment, and I'm afraid that if it breaks, that the one that I have will be broken. And they're like, hey, no problem. So what I did is this. On the 3rd of January, I went ahead and made sure that this 600 was fully charged at 100%. I boxed it back up in the box. I'm going to go ahead and keep this outside for the entire winter. If I have to charge it, I'm going to charge it outside, because more than likely what I'm going to use it for is to recharge my phones, maybe to recharge an electric hand warmer or whatever. And I want to see if at the end of the winter, with keeping it out here under these conditions, if it's still just as good as it was the first day that I took it out of the box. Now understand, ladies and gentlemen, that this video is going to be all over the place, okay? Because I'm just picking stuff up out of my sled and out of the box that I brought to spend the night. And I'm just sharing with you what I brought. So this is like my very first camping stove that I ever purchased after starting this channel. This is just a little rocket stove, and I figured that we'd, use it a little bit today, maybe to try to keep warm, maybe cook a meal on it later on tonight when it gets time to dinner time. And I figured it'd be fun to have it around. This is the sleeping bag I'm going to be using, the same sleeping bag that I used on the last video, which is rated to -25 Fahrenheit, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, the star of the show, which I have not even taken it out of the bag, is the cheapest tent that I could get on Amazon. This tent here was $19.30, and of course it is not insulated. And here's a look. If you want to see how it turns out, just watch the video that I put up when I spend the night in this tent. It should be fun. Now I know you're gonna think I'm crazy, but I brought my Crocs, my little fluffy Crocs. These worked out great the last time that I spent the night outside, and at that night, I believe it was like -17 or -20. I wore these with a couple of wool socks, and it kept my feet nice and toasty all night. In addition, ladies and gentlemen, I brought a few snacks. I got myself some powdered eggs from Nutrient Survival. I got some salt. I got a couple of drink mixes. I got a knife sharpener. And as I use these throughout the video, when I spend the night, that'll be coming out next, you'll see what I use it for and when I use it. I got myself some hot sauce, which was the first hot sauce in a Christmas present package that I got. So I figured I'd try them out one by one. Got some extra virgin olive oil. Of course, we got some Spam. For a snack, I ended up getting some tuna, and I also brought me a couple of Nutrient Survival coffees, along with an immune boost and a drink mix. I've always heard, and I actually tried it out and it did not work, that butane or propane does not work very well in cold weather. So I'm going to try an experiment right now. I didn't take you through the process of making this, but I made a little contraption that looks pretty crazy. It looks like Frankenstein, but I think will work. So what I did is I created this little box out of foam This is actually some of the foam that one of my OUPES solar generators came in. I made a bottom to it that you can see it's got a gap in there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert into this bottom right here a hand warmer. Okay, this is an electric hand warmer, by the way. And the way that it works is you just push this button to turn it on. Let's see if it's even charged. You see that the little red light came on? That's on the lowest setting. Then that's on the medium, and that's on high. And I believe that these are good for probably like 12 hours or so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to conduct a test. These come in sets of 2, and they're actually pretty convenient. All right, so I'm going to grab one of these. I'm going to go ahead and put it down here. And just so as you know, as a separation between the hand warmer and the canister, I went ahead and repurposed some of this that goes down here like this, and then you put the canister in here. But since I've never done this before, I am going to just do it by itself like this, and I'm going to put a thermometer in there. You can see this thermometer up here is the temperature inside. So I'm going to go ahead and put a thermometer in here and just cover it up. I'm going to put it on low setting just to see what temperature it gets to in there. That way I'm satisfied that nothing's going to go wrong when I have this canister in here. So it's been just shy of 1 hour, about 55 minutes since we put this in there with the hand warmer. We're going to open it up and see what the temperature is. If you remember, the temperature was, I believe it was like 60.5, 60.6 degrees when we first started this just shy of an hour ago. So let's lift it up. 79 degrees. Now, I'm assuming that since we are going to be outside, that this is not going to hold 79 degrees outside. So we'll just have to monitor it. I think I'm just going to leave this in there with it. That way we'll know what it is, and we'll be able to turn up the heat or lower it as we go out there, as we find out. Now, in addition to those electric hand warmers that you saw, the one that you saw me use for keeping the butane warm, I did get some foot warmers that actually stick to your socks. I also got some body warmers as well. These guys are essential. However, I do think that I'm going to go with the electric hand warmers because I think they work great. And in the long run, you're just saving a lot of money by recharging those at home. Of course, you have to have some baby wipes. I brought some, I think these are called Bob's butt wipes. I got these for Christmas a couple of years ago. I got my shed knife out. This thing worked so great the last time that I used it that I'm going to go ahead and make this my camping knife. Now, if you haven't checked out shed knives, go check it out. These things are made in the United States of America with U.S. parts by an American, ladies and gentlemen, a young man whom is an entrepreneur, and I'm more than happy to promote his shed knives because they're very high quality, and I really like this one. I forgot that I brought me a snack, the one that I did not eat last time that I came out here for a night. Always bring something that you can start fires with easy, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see if I can start this up for you. Look at that. All you have to do is squeeze like a trigger, turns on. So if your hands are cold, you can still turn it on. My hybrid light, of course, this is the one that I recommend because it will take a beating, it will do its job, and it will last forever. It will keep a charge for 7 years if you don't use it and you just put it in a drawer somewhere. So there's my hybrid light. This is the 1000 lumen. Of course, silky saw, very highly recommended. I think everyone ought to have a silky saw as a backup to your backup. There's a lot of my fire making material in here. Let's see what we got. Of course, I've got the easiest way to start a fire is with the pull start. Something else that I highly recommend. This time around, we're going to end up trying to start a fire with a ferrocerium rod. Not with the magnesium, but with the ferrocerium rod. See if we can do that. And of course, I brought some homemade tinder, which is just some cotton balls with some Vaseline. So that's our fire starting stuff that we have for this trip. And hopefully we won't have to use that pull start because that ferrocerium rod, for being a cheap one, actually works very well. I've got some super glue. I've got a couple of wires to charge my phone or my tablets. Actually, I don't think I'm bringing my tablet out here this time around. I brought my headlamps with me. I brought a backup, and I brought my main, my hybrid light. I brought a couple of chem lights. I brought some gum. And in there, I'm not going to show you, it's just a spare knife. Got an emergency blanket. Got some duct tape. Brought a little radio for entertainment. An extra hat. An extra miniature tripod or selfie stick. I brought 2 extra pair of wool socks, very highly recommended, along with the extra hat, of course. And I brought an extra pair of gloves. I'm not wearing my gloves right now or my hat, as you can see, because I am just warm, just bringing all this stuff over here. Now, this, ladies and gentlemen, is a winter water bottle. And I got this when I was in the Army. And what it is it's an insulated pouch where you put water in a bottle. And what I did this morning is I added the water to this hot. It was around 200 degrees and it's still very warm. So I'll leave it in this pouch. Hopefully it won't freeze if I leave it out in the elements because it's already warm and the warm is being trapped in there. So that's one thing I've got in this box. Another thing is this is going to be my camp light and it just hangs off the tent right here. So that's one thing that I'm going to put inside the tent for light. This, ladies and gentlemen, well, let me show you this. This is some rapid rope is what it's called. This is like 550 cord, but twice as good. I believe this has 1,100 pounds of tensile strength. And it also comes with a little blade in here that you can actually use to cut it. Very nice to have. You cannot go wrong with having as much 550 cord or this kind of cordage on hand. This is something new that I've never tried. This is just a little heater that works off of tea lights. Remember those tea lights I showed you? I'm going to try to have that inside the tent to see what happens with the temperature in there and if we'll keep the temperature down lower than what it is outside by just using this. But we'll see how that works out. It's going to be a great experiment. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're almost done. This hat is awesome. Let's see. It's a Sitka. That's the name of this hat, Sitka. I love it. It is very, very warm, especially when it's really cold outside. So I got my hat. I'm not sure if you can see over here. I got me a pillow, a soft pillow that won't get hard in cold weather. I've got me a wool blanket, which I'm going to be using to try to insulate the tent. And we'll see how that works out on the next video. Got me a small fan. It works on D-size batteries. This is a fan with a little light attached to it. But I got it mainly because it was the cheapest fan that they had that could hook up inside of a tent. And the reason I'm getting this, ladies and gentlemen, or the reason I got this is because the tent that we're going to be using is not insulated. And whatever heat I'm producing from the floor is just going to escape right through the top. So I'm going to try to retain a little bit of that heat, putting this on top of the tent and hopefully blowing some of that heat around the tent, bringing it back down. Of course, I got my coffee cup. I've got some cream for my coffee. Brought a spatula so that we can have some eggs in the morning. Of course, my dinner for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, a nice little ribeye that's already been seasoned with salt alone. Got a couple of kitchen towels. Got me a little frying pan. This is such a nice little frying pan. I bought it a few days ago and I've already used it a couple of times and it works great. I love this thing. And I brought me what used to be a pizza peel that one of my good friends gifted me before they left here, but I'm going to use it to eat off of, all right? Since we don't really cook pizza very much anymore, pretty much anymore in the Alaska Prepper household, I'm going to make sure that I get some use out of it. I'm going to go ahead and eat off of this because these are easy to clean. It's nice and big, nice and flat. So that's it, I believe. And of course, I brought me a camp chair, which I think you might have seen already. I brought me the shovel that you see back here and the sled that everything came in addition to the table that you see here and the tripods. So now it's time for me to get busy and get to work setting up before we lose daylight. If you want to watch the video where I spend the night out here, it's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be coming up next, all right? I'm not sure if it'll be up this week or if it'll be up on Monday next week. Other than that, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining in. Let me know how you like these types of videos. I'm really enjoying doing them, so hopefully you're enjoying watching them as well. God bless every one of you. God bless America. I'm Alaska Prepper. I'm out.